Hello, hello, and thanks for joining me for a pork-laden episode of Perfidious Pete Plays XCOM The Long War. And why is this episode stuffed to the gills with pork? Well, it's not because of a recent black-budget congressional bill, that's for sure. And I mean that in all seriousness, because apparently despite being single-handedly responsible for keeping most of the world's rectums free of shiny alien probes, our favorite XCOM project here seems to get remarkably little government support. So, you know, the question for the ages. Maybe why they would choose to not fund the people defending humanity. But that's above my pay grade. I'm not on any kind of appropriations committees, so... Nope, I'm afraid the pork that we're rolling in is actually not a euphemism for wasteful government spending, but actually, you know, literal pork. You know, chunks of dead hogs? Yeah, that's what we've got. Because last episode we prevented Robert Loggia's favorite butcher shop, which is cleverly named Hog Heaven, I might add, from being blown to smithereens by an alien bomb. And when you save a pork store from explosion, well, you get a lifetime supply of free pork. Turns out that's how they reward you. I think it's actually part and parcel for the whole pork store gig that rescuing the store from certain destruction and or bankruptcy automatically entitles one to a lifetime supply of free pork products. Now, I don't mean to sound ungrateful, because goodness knows free pork would personally save me a small fortune, but when it comes to battling malevolent interstellar species, well, ham hocks and head cheese aren't exactly the best weapons in your arsenal. Unless your plan is to kill the aliens with heart disease, I suppose. But as far as I know, our current plans don't involve that. They tend to involve more bullets. So, I suppose there's really nothing left to do at this point, but just get to scanning. Do you want to keep an eye on our events list, of course? We still have a council report coming up in 3 days. And again, we still do have to launch a satellite over Mexico before that report flies in. So we're sort of like a kid in grade school at that last-minute extra credit project we're looking to turn in just before the report card gun comes out to maybe help us boost that grade up a little bit and make sure we get to go to summer camp. Of course, having been to summer camp, I could say that we honestly shouldn't probably have bothered, but kids are stupid, so them's the breaks, folks. Anyway, let's get to work.
Contact detected.
And the aliens wasting literally no time. They've been launching a lot of missions at us ever since we raided that base. I think they're trying to take advantage of the fact that our top 10 troopers are out of commission for a little while. But we'll have none of that. So let's get an interceptor in the air and see what we can do. Dare I send Brick? Nah, he'll just wind up sunk like his namesake at the bottom of the ocean. Let's throw eggs at him. And I mean Garcia, not actual eggs. Although throwing eggs at the aliens does sound sort of fun. More like a Halloween prank, though, than any kind of actual intercept.
Bangs out.
I don't know if you could say eggs has fangs. I mean, he has teeth, maybe, but not like deadly teeth, just like chewing teeth, you know. Sort of a garden variety, kind of regular, just molars, bicuspids, incisors, just the, you know, the regular allotment. I wouldn't say his fangs. You can tell by the amount of damage he took shooting down a small UFO that that's just pretty much the case. Anyway, we can't fully fault eggs because he did at least get the job done. So why is the globe spinning like that? Has there been a sudden, just unbelievable climactic weather event here on Earth? What the hell's going on? I mean, those Coriolis forces are there. Those guys are going to rip some shit apart. It's like El Nino finally grew up, stopped being a child, and turned into an angry teen. I mean, I'm kind of scared to launch the Sky Ranger into this for fear of what might happen. And of course, if I cared more about our troopers, I actually might do that, but them's the breaks, folks. You guys are going up even if there's a hurricane outside. Oh, good lord, this team has me filled with dread already. Mel Gibson, possibly the one bright spot in that lineup. Oh, well, Reb Brown was there as well, I guess. And I gotta love it when the computer defaults me to 2 Rocketeers. That fills me with glee. Wait, what's the opposite of glee? Dread? I meant dread. Fills me with dread, yeah. Honestly, I think Mel Gibson was probably the right pick. Do we have another sniper who's not a shameful waste? We have Penelope Cruz, but borderline shameful waste. We could also send Jeff Goldblum. I'd personally rather smash myself into balls with a sledgehammer. Let's just send Mel Gibson. I know Uncle Mel can't get any EXP for this because, of course, Mel, maximum rank, because, let's face it, he's an ungodly beast. But he can actually buff the EXP for the kills that any of the other troopers get, so no harm really in sending out old Uncle Mel. We will give Uncle Mel some Kestrel armor. How many suits of armor do we have? Just enough. Alright. It's going to be Kestrel armor for Uncle Mel then, and we will give him, of course, his Gauss long rifle, patented long rifle that it is. He calls it, he calls his rifle Long Dong Silver. It's a little weird and kind of retro, but it's best not to question anything that Mel does, because he'll chew your face off. I mean, literally actually bite your face until it's gone. It's best just not to question and just accept the fact that Long Dong Silver is what he calls his gun. Anyway, that's got Mel sorted. We are going to want an infantry trooper. I'm just going to take probably whoever's the best and available, which is going to be George Clooney. So much for best, but, well, the one thing you can say about George is, while he's not good, he certainly is available. Welcome aboard, Clooney, I guess. Sort of. Why don't you take the Slim Shady Memorial Slug Slinger and just try not to fucking embarrass yourself? I mean, at this point, really, that's all we can hope for, is that you don't shoot yourself in the foot or, you know, hit a friendly trooper in the back of the head, something along those lines. I mean, I don't know what else we would expect after Solaris, but, you know, that's the way it goes. I think this would be a good mission for Old Rat to get a little more activity. He actually did okay on his last time out. I gotta say, I'm even starting to, his look is starting to grow on me. I think actually he's making a more attractive lady than he ever did as a dude. So, you know, for what it's worth. Do I really want to give him Banshee armor? Is he going to be climbing anything? No. So let's just give him Phalanx armor and leave it at that. We will give him actually a laser rifle because, well, Old Rat's aim isn't exactly super awesome. I mean, he's not exactly the rat from Ratatouille here. He's more like your Garden Variety, just filthy, disease-ridden, flea-infested sewer rat. Still a lover of cheese, though, both finely prepared French cheese and just your Garden Variety Kraft American. He likes all varieties. Not a persnickety cheese consumer is Rat. We will need a gunner, preferably someone who's not just a complete waste of skin. Taylor Lautner, Nicki Minaj. You know what? Actually, Catherine Zeta-Jones has been on one of these missions before, and she actually did okay. Also pretty close to level for Catherine Zeta, so let's just go ahead and kit her out. We'll give you know what? Actually, Catherine Zeta is going to wear our Banshee armor. It's not entirely out of the question that we might want Catherine Zeta-Jones on a rooftop. I mean, normally I understand she's busy sliding sexily beneath the lasers that are, you know, everywhere in security forces around the world. Of course, visible lasers quite well used and well respected amongst the security community. And normally she's fully occupied with that, but in this case we might actually have to have her infiltrate a rooftop, so I'm going to make sure I gave her the right equipment. Yep, scope and an alloy bipod. Well, that's got Catherine sorted. What have we got? A medic and infantry, a gunner, a sniper. Probably going to need a scout, and honestly I think we're going to need to bolster this team a bit, so let's grab old immortal madman himself, Reb Ryder Brown. We're going to give Reb Brown some Aegis armor. He's going to be toting one of our alloy cannons as well. Flashbang, and of course an arc thrower for the Rebinator, because why not? Small UFO should have at least a reasonable chance of perhaps pulling a capture. Of course, Reb Brown always has a huge chance of pulling wherever he goes, because let's face it, the man is irresistible to the fair sex. I mean, also dudes, too. I mean, everybody wants to get on Reb Brown's jock, and I include myself in that, because let's face it, there never a manlier man has walked the earth. Speaking of wanting to get on Reb Brown's jock, I think old Hannah Twerkin Montana here also eager to get a piece of that, and can't say that I blame her. We're going to give her, of course, an alloy cannon, and in case of Berserker, bring breaching ammo, so why not? A little breaching ammo and an arc thrower as well. That completes old Twerkin's styling. And that just leaves us one unit left, and that's going to be either an engineer or a rocketeer. I'm actually leaning toward engineer, because it looks like, yeah, well, we could take John Mayer. He's our defensive engineer, but I'm not actually sure what he necessarily brings to the table that's worth a shit. Could take a rocketeer. Haven't had one out in a while. Tiger Woods is looking rusty. And let's not take Tiger. Let's take Ian Ziering. I thought he was also available. Yeah, let's give old Finn a shot. Time for him to once again cut some waves. And I actually, that's a euphemism for farting, because Ian Ziering is notoriously flatulent. It's just the way it works. Sorry, I hate to break it to you, ladies, but that's how it rolls. And for Ian's backup, we're just going to give him a scope and a spare rocket. Gauss carbine, of course, to help with his flagging speed, because let's face it, those knees ain't young as they were back in the 90210 era. And for our final unit, it's going to be a mech trooper, and I think it's Charlie Hunnam, because he may literally be the only bullet we have left in the chamber. And he is, in fact, the only bullet we have left in the chamber. So, Specialist Charlie Hunnam, I don't even know what Bombard does. I should probably look at that, I guess. What does this do? You can really throw grenades very far. Okay, well, it's actually not necessarily horrible, I suppose. So I guess since he has mad grenade skills and his aim is, let's face it, atrocious, I think we'll go with a little bit unconventional action here. And we'll give him... Oh, can we not? Okay, well... I was going to give him a grenade launcher and a flamethrower. Can we not do that? Apparently we cannot do that. Alright. Must need the Mach 2 for that. So let's give him the grenade launcher then instead of the flamethrower. Alloy belt and some weapon gyros, because let's face it, Chuck's going to need all the help he can get here to get any hits at all. The drift must be fighting him today. He's not yet found a quality partner. That's what happens when you don't drift with the Idris Elba. Just a little known fact. There is no preferable drifting partner. Idris Elba, he's it. He cancels apocalypses and shit. Seriously.
Touching down.
It's a fact. Anyway, let's start this assault. Small UFO, so I'm not anticipating anything too terrifying.
Has sent a number of requests for assistance, so that's our next
Operation Swift Stranger.
The downed UFO is in a densely populated urban area.
Seriously, Central, you guys need to work on your population density tables, because I know this is Australia and population density there per capita tends to be fairly lower than the rest of the world, but does this really look like an urban area to you? There isn't a single fucking building. It's just a field that's sort of on fire with a UFO exploded in the middle of it. I mean, the closest thing to a building is like a ratty old tree that's mostly been destroyed. I mean, just some basic competence is really all I'm asking for. Just say it's in a field in Australia.
This is Big Sky. We're just north of the crash site.
Anyway, let's get to work here.
Loud and clear, Big Sky. We'll monitor those readings from here.
Yeah.
Strike 1 is authorized to assault.
The only thing you're monitoring, Central, is your own workstation, because I know you're playing Tetris there while we're out here dealing with some deadly and dangerous aliens. You're playing Tetris. That you're deep in a Galaga game, which, I can't fault you for that. Galaga is one hell of a fun game, but still. Seems like you should be paying at least a modicum of attention to what's going on.
Okay.
So George Clooney gets first move, mostly because,
I've got my eyes on.
well, I'm relatively cavalier with the Clooninator's life. He hasn't exactly been a great contributor for us, and that's sort of putting it mildly.
Moving.
Bring Rebster up into this corner cover. And it looks clear enough that we can probably try and get Catherine Zeta-Jones into a potential firing position for next turn. And let's go similar route for the mortal madman Mel Gibson there. Of course, Red Brown is our immortal madman. Mel Gibson is actually the mortal madman. Mel Gibson can be killed by conventional weapons. It's just really unlikely. Rat, why don't you take cover behind that tree? We're not going to really need anything out of you this turn, I don't feel. Reb Brown is not in cover at all, because apparently he didn't go where he was told. Nicely done, Reb. Way to obey orders. I mean, I know you're an unkillable god, but still,
On the move.
your actions could result in the death of a teammate, and while you are immune to death, I assure you that Ian Ziering is far from immune to death, so, just may want to consider your actions and their consequences
Got it.
a little more carefully, Reb. Anyway, Ian Ziering on the move, that's going to wrap up our turn. Red Brown feels duly shamed.
On Overwatch.
Which is to say no shame at all, because he honestly doesn't give a shit about any of these other people except for Mel Gibson. And if he causes any problems for Uncle Mel just put him down. It's really kind of a no-brainer from Mel, so... Let's get Rat out here and have him chuck a battle scanner. I heard the Muton sound, and I'm actually a little concerned about possibly running into a Berserker with this crew. Simply because they suck.
Understood. Moving out.
And I'm not sure they would have enough aggregate damage to take out. If it's a dual Berserker pod, pretty sure they're not going to be able to down it. So we're just going to be a little bit careful, but we are also going to advance toward that meld canister as well.
I feel, Commander.
That's a good target for Hannah Torkin Montana to sort of work her way towards. Currently, Hannah Torkin Montana working her way onto early into her show business career, and it seems like we're trying to encourage her onto a better path.
Overwatch. Aye, aye.
Maybe, you know, less drug abuse, less addictive problems, things of that nature. Just slow your roll, Miley. You're young. Got your whole life ahead of you. You can, you know, do a bunch of lunatic crazy shit when you're old and you know, no longer fit for whatever it is that you do. You got time, Miley. Yeah, let's go on Overwatch with Uncle Mel. And I'm actually a little surprised that we haven't found any aliens yet. Not unpleasantly so, because we're actually in a terrible position, but still a little surprised. It's going to be Overwatch then for Spec Hunnam. Let's have the Immortal Madman step up next to old Ian Ziering. Not that anyone would necessarily want to be in close proximity to Ian Ziering. I honestly can't say I blame them, but those are the sacrifices you've got to make when you're part of the XCOM project. Sometimes you're required to be near Ian Ziering.
There's something out there.
Yeah, it's Berserkers. We're pretty well aware of that, actually. Alright, so let's see if Reb can get to this meld canister. He can. Alright, we're going to have Reb grab the meld thing. And it doesn't look like we've spawned a pod. My guess is probably those mutons then are going to be actually inside the ship. And that means they're probably going to have an overseer of some variety, which in this case most likely an outsider since we haven't had any audio clues. Probably going to be in there keeping them company. So I think what we'll do is just sort of set up for a nice conservative base grab here. But let's send... that's actually a pretty big chance of spawning a pod. We are going to send some troopers forward at a dash. Again, we don't want anybody further forward than where the Rebinator has safely cleared. Looney. That's actually probably safe enough for you. Yeah, and I'm thinking our tactics here are going to be pretty solid. We're going to have Ian Ziering advance. Arguably, we could have had him sit down a tag and then go for the steady weapon, which probably would have... I mean, logically, that actually probably would have been the better position to be in. We're just playing this one a little more aggressive. I'm not overly worried about what's in a small UFO at this point. Even with sort of a scrub crew, I still feel we've got a pretty reasonable shot at dealing with anything that might be inside. I'm not expecting... You know, I mean, it's not like there's going to be 5 sectopods or anything. So, Catherine Zeta-Jones, we do want to get in a good firing position. She's going to be bringing the serious pain when it comes to the damage areas. And by that, I mean, actually, Catherine Zeta-Jones typically targets the ball side. She's big on the groin shots. It's, I mean, almost disturbingly so, in fact. It's kind of disconcerting, actually.
Moving out.
We've got Brat bringing up the rear like the rat that he is, which is not necessarily a bad thing, of course. He also fights like a cornered rat, so when in trouble, John Leguizamo is always reliable. And speaking of old rat, let's, we're actually going to have him honors the first move. So Rat has honors, and with those honors, he's going to throw a battle scanner inside this downed UFO so we can see what the hell's inside of it. Let's get some eyes in there, Rat. I mean, this is your job. You're supposed to go in there and rat out the enemy force, so do it. I mean, it's your job. So is that a floater back there? I think I see a floater. Yeah, so a floater and some manner of muton. So it looks like a pod of mutons and floaters. Also 2 outsiders right there. We may theoretically have a shot at those outsiders. And we sort of do, but not quite. We need to get a little bit closer.
Moving to position.
So let's move Catherine Zeta-Jones a little bit closer, and we're going to have her hunker down this turn. And what we'll do then is we're just going to set up for sort of a full bull rush next turn.
Moving.
Don't spawn a pod, Reb. Alright.
Roger. I've got my eyes on.
And Ian Ziering, you're actually... why don't you steady weapon then? Uncle Mel, we're going to need you to readjust just a little bit, buddy. We need you to get some shots downrange towards the enemy. Thinking that way should give you enough squad sight that you can get some fire in there. Yeah. Probably going to have Uncle Mel spawn the pod for us, in all reality. Just a little readjustment for Charlie Hunnam. Actually, hopeful that doesn't launch the pod. Alright, it did not. That's good. So far, Charlie Hunnam has been a solid addition to the team. Yet to make a mistake. Of course, he's yet to contribute in any fashion either. That also bears watching for a team. We've got our muton on the move, and it looks like it may just be a regular muton. So what we're going to do then, let's have Catherine Zeta-Jones go ahead and start this party. Fire it up on one of these outsiders. And that was quite a devastating hit from young Catherine Zeta. Although I'm not sure we can actually call her young Catherine Zeta anymore, because She's like 60. And I, of course, exaggerate, but only slightly. So 52% chance is all you got, huh, Uncle Mel? That's less than I was hoping for. We're still going to take it, but not exactly your greatest performance there, Mel. That was a miss, so we're not going to get a double tap there. Or, oh, I guess we can double tap a miss. An even lower percentage chance to hit, but statistically, well, fuck statistics forever, basically. We've just disproved that, so suck it, math. I've disproved statistics forever with that one single instance. I mean, I know about sample sizes and whatnot, but yeah, I'm just at this point, I'm just gonna say y'all can suck it. There's a UFO flight computer there, which not necessarily would be the best thing to blow up. Also, forgive me for channeling Yoda there for a moment with my strange verb subject object construction. Kill for Ian Ziering, though. And let's face it, Ian Ziering kills fairly rare. I mean, that's kind of a diamond in the rough sort of shit right there. We may revisit Charlie in a moment. Let's see who else has shots here. Alright, so John Leguizamo has specifically some bad shots. Looney's probably going to overwatch. Not much Hannah Montana can get done for us here. Reb Brown isn't necessarily in the best position of all time either. You know what? Actually, I think we'll do is let's dash up here with the Rebster and see if maybe he can get this alien to come forward a little bit into some Overwatch. John Leguizamo, if you had, would be actually much more pleasant with you, or rather pleased with you, since that's how words work.
On Overwatch.
I'd be much happier with you, I think, actually, if you had suppression right now, but you don't, so we just sort of have to deal with that. Charlie, why don't you go on Overwatch and see if maybe you can do something for the mission. I mean, just for once. And it looks like you're going to get a chance to actually do a little bit of something by walking in there and flinging a grenade at those sons of bitches. And here comes a bunch of Overwatch, which is bad because it looks like Reb Brown's going to get shot in the back. Yeah. Nicely done, Clooney. Glad we brought you. Thanks, buddy. Good work there. So Reb Brown's Aegis armor going to be punched through with that shot. So our plan there didn't exactly work out quite as well as we had hoped, in that it didn't necessarily work out at all, which is to say that it didn't work out at all. Good opportunity here for Charlie Hunnam to actually contribute something positive to the mission, however. How far, I mean, it says an extraordinarily long way. I mean, how far is an extraordinarily long way? I mean, you're telling me how this ability works. How long is long?
That's affirmative.
Ladies, can you help me out with that, maybe? How long is long, ladies? Alright, so the Muton moved very slightly, and it looks like that's going to be it from Team Alien. So let's see just how far old Hunnam can lob one in there. It looks like, actually, not necessarily that far. I mean, it's something, but it's not exactly the most... It's also terrible damage. So, well done there, I guess, Charlie. Good contribution, Chuck. We're glad we brought you. Well, of course, out of ammo. He did fire his weapon twice, and yeah, it's prone to happen when you're Mel Gibson and you fire twice. Could have a opportunity for Ian Ziering to maybe pay some bills, Ian? What do you feel? You got the skills, buddy? Clearly not. What if we reposition you slightly?
I'm on the move.
Will said skills pay the bills now? I'm going to guess still no. Yeah, looks like actually even worse. About a shredder rocket. Still nothing. Thanks for being a waste of skin, buddy. You're a credit to, well, effectively nothing. Wow, we've really got a ton of bad shots here. This is not going well at all. It looks like it's going to be up to Hannah Twerkin Montana here to. This is almost certain to draw a grenade from the aliens. All right, so. Hannah Twerkin Montana is going to run and gun. There's no question about that. But we are going to adjust very slightly with Reb Brown. We need to get the Rebster unflanked. And then Reb's just going to take whatever his best shot is. And to say that Reb does not have a plethora of great shots at his disposal is a bit of an understatement. We actually may have Reb throw a flashbang, honestly. Go ahead and take just whatever miserable shot you got. I'm actually pretty amazed that that hit something. But this one's going to be all on Hannah Twerkin Montana, then.
Roger, Dodger.
I'm actually not sure if she's going to be able to kill this guy. 8 damage, maybe more than Miley has at her disposal. Let's see. And Miley going for some kind of bizarre trick shot there, where she actually shot that alien up into the air, only to shoot him back down. She's doing some, that's some rodeo-style shit right there. We're going to readjust very slightly with Clooney, and put him on Overwatch, just to try and keep Miley unflanked. Catherine Zeta, of course, no target. She's going to go on Overwatch. And Reb Brown... Oh, Reb, buddy. You know what? Throw it anyway. I'm more worried about the Muton than, honestly, than I am about the floaters. Mostly I just don't want that Muton throwing grenades at us. And that's got Reb Brown sorted. And I believe that just leaves the rat.
I'm on the move.
Yep, just leaves us a little bit of rat ass. So he's going to head up there. Squeak his teeth just very little bit, because, you know, that's kind of his thing. And then he's going to go in Overwatch. George Clooney, I'm guessing... Oh my god, George Clooney actually hit something. I don't know what to say. It's not like Clooney ever does anything positive, so I really don't know how to react. Man, to say that he's not one of our best troopers is, I feel, a pretty significant understatement. So this unit is on Overwatch, but that's no problem for Reb, Mortal Madman Brown. Of course, he hasn't been hit once, so if he gets hit again through his lightning reflexes, he will go down like... Well, I was going to make an unflattering comment about Paris Hilton there, but you know what? She's been a good trooper for us, and I'm going to stop piling on her. I'm really going to stop the hate on Paris Hilton. So, you know, I won't say that he was going to go down like Paris Hilton on any random dude she happened to find in a hotel. I'm not going to say it. I'm better than that. What do you got, Uncle Mel? Anything here? Alright. That seems like a quality shot. For certain values of quality. Great damage, by the way. Good thing you have double tap. Not that this one's going to hit. And called that one. Yeah, what a surprise there, Uncle Mel. Except that the only person that was surprised was, well, possibly you, I guess. Not anyone else. Ziering, got all these rockets, buddy. Can you actually do something with them? Oh, hey, you sort of can. And by that, I mean blow up valuable resources is effectively what you're intending to do. Or destroy Red Brown's cover, which is equally bad.
With pleasure.
This is going to scatter and ruin something. Well, it ruined that Muton, for one. It looks like it also may have blown up that flight computer as well. Did it? You know what? I can't tell. And odds are fairly strong that that thing was wrecked anyway, so... Clooney, why don't you advance and see if maybe you can take out this floater? I mean, the only floaters normally that you're taking out are the ones that hang around in a toilet. And better go back to flushing, buddy, because it seems like that's going to be your only contribution. So can Charlie Hunnam do 3 damage? Well, actually 4 damage with a grenade. I'd actually have him shoot his regular gun, but I'm almost certain it would miss. Let's see if he can do any damage here. 9 damage. That's actually surprising. Way more than I expected. So Operation Swift Stranger turning out to be fairly swift indeed. Pretty handily completed by our troopers, of course, except for Red Brown, who I think maybe spending a couple weeks in a hospital. That's not necessarily a great thing. We wouldn't mind getting Reb finally to max level so he could also put on a shooting clinic, much like Jaden Smith recently did with his In the Zone ability, but seems like the Rebster's got a few more stitches that are going to go in the old body. Of course, he can't be killed, but he is prone to being injured. That's the one thing we've learned about old Reb Brown. A slew of promotions on the mission, however, which is, that's a positive thing. It's good to see Catherine Zeta-Jones finally getting up above Lance Corporal. It's going to be heat ammo for Catherine Zeta. Definitely no quandaries about that. We need some more robot killing units, and I think, well, Catherine Zeta will fill that in quite well. I mean, shit, she's been dealing with Michael Douglas for years, and goddamn, he's one of those Hall of Presidents robot automaton things. She knows how to maintain him. Maintaining and killing other robotic enemies should really be a small task by comparison. Lock and load is actually pretty interesting for the Rebster. Resilience also actually pretty interesting for the Rebster, because that would make him pretty much immune to death. Outside is not particularly useful for Red Brown, actually. Unless we're going to give him a marksman's rifle, which we're almost certainly not going to do. What are the stat bonuses for lock and load? This is probably going to come down to which one has the better stat bonuses. I'm not overly enthused by the will bonus from... that has no bonuses. You know what? He's going to take in the zone. Lock and load actually I think lock and load and in a zone do synergize in that you can reload and then empty your weapon again. We're going to take lock and load. Even though resilience did have some benefits and a boost to his will, which would have taken him to a 50, still, a 50 will isn't exactly... I mean, it's not like he's Margaret Thatcher or anything. Nobody's going to be calling him the Iron Dragon at 50. It's just, you know, he's sort of competent. I really think lock and load probably was the better choice. And it's working Montana, going to be taking close encounters. That's a no-brainer. One of the most fantastic abilities, especially when you have someone with Hannah's speed. She is pretty quick on her feet. Automated threat assessment is garbage. Rapid reaction for someone with Charlie's aim, also kind of crappy. What's platform stability? That's actually not terrible. Also comes with 1 aim bonus, which, let's face it, Charlie could really use. Rapid reaction actually has a bigger aim bonus. But I don't... with Charlie's aim as low as it is, I mean, eventually we could probably rally it up and make that a useful ability. But if the first one is a miss, and he's never going to be really gifted with the Overwatch department, and it doesn't eliminate the penalty either. Let's just go with platform stability. I would actually rather have the +10/+10. It's also more critical chance, which is actually good for Charlie. Critical chance does apply to rockets, and those rockets and grenades tend to have very low critical, so it wouldn't hurt to have him buffed in that capacity. So that's everything completed. Sort of a standard array of loot, nothing impressive, although we did get 6 meld, which is nice, and some UFO power sources and flight computers, which I see that Ian Ziering made sure were unsalvageable. Thanks very much there, Ian. Can't take you anywhere. I swear. Can't take you anywhere. So let's head to the old grain market. We'll just get rid of those damaged components. Lest I forget. Oh, there's our thin man captive, which I see Dr. Valen is beside herself with eagerness to quickly interrogate. Go ahead and get that completed. And with that, then, I think we'll go ahead and wrap things up. Of course, if you enjoyed the episode, feel free to drop a like down in the comments section. Your support really does mean a lot to us. And if you'd like more daily XCOM, consider subscribing as well. We'll see you again soon.